Greetings everyone, back for some more doodling, and we'll do this a little bit differently than some of the other things. We're going to do this kind of like in little vignettes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark out little panels here, and then in the next few videos we will fill them in, just because it's fun to finish little spaces rather than big spaces, and then we'll do like a big project at some point in the near future. For now, we'll make space for little fun ideas. So that's one spot. The next spot, lots of room, of course. This is kind of fun stuff to do because, as most of you know, when you're doodling and all that kind of thing, filling in larger spaces in a short amount of time isn't always fun. And plus, this gives you the opportunity to kind of get ideas out a little bit quicker. So this is sort of like that newspaper or newsletter, or I don't know, sort of like the meme kind of way of doing things. Now you can get 3-panel versions of this kind of stuff too, so it doesn't have to be just a 1-panel thing. And towards the end of this, these don't even really have to be connected. If you get a funny idea, this is a great way to deal with a funny idea. Okay. So yeah, cassette tapes. Not many people have them around anymore, but this is good. So the last video, I was playing around with Batman, and let's see if we can come up with something with Batman. We're gonna make our way to one panel here. We'll sharpen this up a little bit if it'll focus. Oops. Come on now. Let's see how this works. Okay, so the idea for this would be that Batman needs a bat break, because he's been up all night and suffering a little bit. And toilet humor is what it is, because it's something that we're all kind of required to do, sort of like sleep and food, shelter, that sort of thing. So we're just going to come up with something ridiculous. And nothing too rude, of course. We don't really want to be making people angry with our silliness. For some reason, I like some of the aesthetic of the Batman from that 1989 film still. The cape that gets unnecessarily long and swoopy. The Batman's such an unusual character. Now, if you heard me rambling on in the last video about why I think that maybe, just maybe, he can be at times super unnecessary with how he deals with people, not wanting to be connected too closely to some people. Right now we're just playing in the shadows of a Gotham night. Yeah, he's kind of a strange character, honestly enough. It's funny, they make it seem like grappling hooks are somehow really easy to use. And I think for the landscape of how the Batman gets around the city, we've allowed him the ability to have something that drills its way into concrete and stuff like that, just because it's easier for us to sort of deal with that, because he's not always going to have railings to hook on some ridiculous thing like that on, but it's easier for us, I guess, to have it so that he can drill his way into things. You know, and a weird bonus, having a cape keeps you from having to draw the rest of the body out too. So there's the trick of that, I suppose, is why you get some of the heroes that have these wonderful capes. It allows you to save time on drawing, I suppose, too. Now let's draw something off to one side here. It's just kind of in the background. We can fix some of it. With circles that we can kind of turn into versions of windows, but right now we're just making the openings. Circles are quicker to do. So right now, let's say that this is kind of like a, well, it could be part of an air conditioning unit or something like that too. The air conditioning units have giant fans. We'll let that sort of sit in the background just a little bit. Like that. And for fun, add just a slight amount of 3D effect to it. We don't need to really add a lot to it though. We're going to have part of this be a lower roof. And it would run all the way back here, let's say. So, something that's kind of fun when you think of, certain characters, for me anyway, I like to think that there are kind of human-like qualities that we have to make them relatable. Now, we don't like our monsters to be relatable, but I think often we want them to be kind of gray, and or at least to see how they might have, become what they became. I don't think that's always necessary, though. I think sometimes it's better to just let a monster be a monster. Because as soon as you start getting into making them relatable, then you can see how easy you might become like them. Make them relatable. Yeah, I think that's dangerous. I don't think it's always a good thing. Suppose this should have been a lot more square too, huh? Maybe. Because we now know the direction of the roof anyway. We can change this up a little bit. That makes more sense. Smaller little barricade of sorts back here, distance wise. It's fun to do these sort of background things. He's obviously not going for this building here. It's got to be a building up over here somewhere or something like that. Don't know. Deeper in the background. So let's say there's a building here. And those windows would be quite a bit bigger. Another office building. This is where the penciler brings in a lot of stuff to do. Before you get the chance to ink it. It's all right. We're doing this for fun. Over here, we can have someone who's standing by the window, but not enough detail, really. Someone here pointing like, oh yeah, that's Batman. Oh wow. Let's say you have someone sitting here at their desk. Someone else sitting there at their desk. Deep inside here. Just some space. Or random things inside. Shorter view of the ceiling possibly in here. Two people chatting. Okay, so there's that. We're going to have to assume that there's a building off over here somewhere. And for fun, we'll just say from rooftop. And now, right here, we're going to show the remnants of how you could get upstairs. Something like that. So nothing too complicated, just a doodle. So you got a building here. Now, that building would end up being pretty far away if that's what it looks like from there, right? We can go with a building way further back. This one's just background stuff. that didn't go the way I wanted it to. Anyway, so that's background stuff. Another one further along. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of stuff going on. The streets. A lot of towns have some sort of cathedral or something as well, so we'll just jam one in there. A couple of trees just for fun. Here, an unnecessary bit of darkness. That's my good buddy Neville, now giving me a heads up that perhaps I need to finish up here. Keep this under 30 minutes. Let's have like a little pigeon off to one side here, but in truth, only you and I will know that's supposed to be a pigeon. Ridiculous. Sides of the building. It's funny, a lot of that background stuff, it can be so dull to do, but there's such a high value for it if you can just kind of give the brain a moment to come up with why you believe this to be a city, right? So it is, in a way, a character itself. Now let's add a little bit more here, a little bit there. another more obvious pigeon. Looking kind of like a duck. That's all right. That's enough shadow for that. A little bit more shadow over here for this box. Okay. That's a rough idea of what we're going for. I could turn this into a bat signal, of course. Actually, let's do that just because I think that'd be kind of fun. Although that takes away where, you know, certain things might go, though, but we like to paint things in an obvious way once in a while. And plus, it's a symbol, right? So it's kind of a hard sell sort of symbol, too, to be honest with you. Because, you know, how do you get hold of this caped crusader in the daytime? I mean, obviously, I suppose somebody would have access to sending out information that the back computer would already kind of have somehow tracking abilities of. So, you know, I suppose there's that. Alfred probably is pretty helpful with that sort of thing. That kind of fills that out just enough. So, just in case you can't really read that, that's just the quick little bit of information, which doesn't give a lot of information as to what's going on, but it says, from rooftop to rooftop, when you gotta go. You can take that whatever way you need to, I suppose, for that storyboard looking thing. So I think that's all we're going to do for now, just for fun. And then we'll come up with an idea for one of the other panels just for fun too. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you again in the very near future.